Hello, beautiful people. So, today, since a long time actually, I haven't felt inspired, to be honest, to share something in this way in a video. But today, after my sessions, I felt really inspired to share something about the topic around trauma bonding. And it's usually something I haven't really shared about, even though I work a lot with it in my sessions and I have experienced this topic a lot with myself and my own relationships in the past. So, what is trauma bonding? Trauma bonding means that if we are in a romantic relationship or we are attracted to someone and the attraction is mainly based on a resonance of old traumas, a remembrance of old behavior that we experienced in our childhood that were painful, that were traumatic. So if we go into those connections from maybe a place of an unmet need, an unmet desire, or a familiarity of a behavior or a treatment, there's that part of us that can feel really, really safe. And that safety is an old sense of safety which maybe wasn't safe at all. But it feels safe for our system because there's an imprint within our being that started to think this is safe, this is normal behavior, this is my reference point. So if your reference point is that you are emotionally neglected, that someone cannot hear you or see you in your emotions, that you have to suppress them in order to feel safe, in order to feel loved, if that's what your experience was as a child, for example, if your mom or your dad couldn't meet you emotionally because they, whatever reasons they had, you started to feel safe to suppress them. So that connection, that way of relating becomes normal for you. So if we then later on go through life and we have connections and we go into more intimate relationships and there is this part of us, this deeply subconscious usually, and painful wounded part because we got wounded by that. We get wounded if we don't receive the love and the approval, and if we are not met in our emotional needs as a child, we get wounded by that. We get impacted by that. There's no doubt about that, because as children we need our parents. We are dependent on their love. We are dependent on their emotional availability and their physical availability, their mental availability. And if there's anything lacking, we get wounded, we get hurt by that, even if we're not aware of it, that it was painful. So the moment we have this imprint, those subconscious parts within us, they're still there because they still don't feel loved in this moment. If we have never taken care of them, if we have never taken them out of that painful situation, they are still believing on a subconscious level that this is safe, this is how I should be treated, this is how I receive love, this is how someone meets me in an interaction, in a relationship, especially in an intimate relationship. So if we enter a relationship, we sometimes even feel attractive towards these qualities in someone else, which sounds really, if we think about it, it's like that's not healthy, that's crazy, or whatever we can think about it. But there is a part within you that resonates with that behavior, with that quality of being treated, or that behavior from the other person, because it felt safe and normal at one point. And the moment we can actually create awareness around that, and the moment we start to track that that is something that stems from childhood, which actually was painful, which actually wasn't a healthy way of love, that wasn't a healthy way of relating, of receiving love, then we can start to change it and take care of those parts. We can take care of these parts and see, okay, what is it that you actually needed? And how do you actually feel about that you were not met in your needs? That there was someone that you really needed, like your parents, that they weren't available to you. How did you really feel about that? And explore underneath that also what were the really deep desires. And the moment we can become clear around that, we can change that. We can change that dynamic. We can change the way we interact with ourselves, because we feel like we are being taken care of finally. We are being met in a way we need and deserve to be met. But as long as that imprint is there and the subconscious part of it and you are responding, they will keep on repeating and repeating, because there's this part within us that think this is normal. This is how I should be relating. But the thing that you think that's how it should be, and at the same time it was painful for you, that doesn't mean it's healthy. That doesn't mean it's safe. So if you are attracting these types of connections or intimate relationships where there is trauma bonding, and we all have them in one way or the other, we all have them, subtle ways, sometimes bigger ways, sometimes they show up in more intense ways, and there's no judgment around that. But it's like, if you're struggling with that and you feel you want to change that, it's a really beautiful opportunity to really dive into yourself. Like, what does this behavior remind me of? What is this person that I'm getting angry at, that I'm feeling triggered by? What is he reminding me of my childhood? What is he showing me where I wasn't met maybe as a child? What is that behavior reminding me of? And then go within. Because what we do, if we bypass that step, we want more from the other person, and that part within you first needs to be taken care of. And then maybe we can see if we can like figure that out with that person we are in a connection with. But first, like, okay, what is it within myself that I need to take care of? And then see what shifts, and see how you can change the imprint and repattern and rewire that within yourself. And then you will also find a match on that new imprint, which will be probably completely different. So that is my sharing about today about trauma bonding, and there's way more I can share about that, but I keep it like this for today. If you have any questions or if that brings up anything, please reach out to me. If you need any support with really reconnecting with those spots within you to clear things out, to heal things, please send me a message and I can see how I can support you. Lots of love.